The theme of our gatherings together has been called Through the Doorway to the Absence of Illusion. And it could be suggested that the stories that have been told are to fashion the key that opens that door. So far, there are several things that have come up as the requirements for fashioning that key. And they are to stop trying and to stop wanting. Let's see what this old story we told invokes for us as the next item in our list that will form that key. And it's the story of that great Hindu scholar called Narada. Now Narada was a devotee of the god Vishnu, in whose body it is said existence plays. And very often in his meditations, Narada would ascend to the heavenly realms to convene and converse with this great God. But Narada also liked to roam about in the world of existence, learning its ways. Pilgrimages, and on those pilgrimages he was often recognized and given hospitality in those places where he came to rest. And there was an occasion when, coming to a certain town, a merchant there recognized him as a great being and invited him back to his home to be given hospitality. When they went there, he was treated to the very best that that house could offer. A meal of great delight. But after the meal, Narada said to the merchant, his host, and his wife, "This meal was delicious, but it tasted to me of sadness." The merchant and his wife were greatly surprised, and they said, "Indeed, you are a great saint with great perception. Yes, we are sad. We have longed for a child. We have prayed. We have done rituals, but to no avail. We have no children." So Narada said, "Bring to me your horoscopes. Show me your palms." And when Narada looked at their palms and read their horoscopes, he shook his head sadly and said, "It is revealed that your karma does not allow you to have that for which you long. It is not in your destiny to have children." The merchant and his wife were greatly disappointed, but they believed the great saint's words. He left the next day, and on the road between his visits to the towns and places of existence. He sat under a tree to meditate, and in deep meditation he arose to the celestial realms where he met Vishnu. And he told Vishnu of his encounter. And Vishnu affirmed, "You know, Narada, that karma cannot be changed. If it is in this couple's destiny not to have children, then so be it." And Narada knew of this, these laws of existence. And he went on his pilgrimages. But pilgrimages sometimes take us round about and bring us back to the places where we've been. And so it happened with Narada. He came back to this town, where the merchant and his wife lived. And again the merchant met him and invited him back to his home. And when they arrived there, to the great surprise of Narada, there were 3 children playing in the yard. And he asked, "Whose children are these?" And the merchant with great joy said, "They're our children." And then he explained that after Narada had left, an old hermit came into town, and when he met the merchant, he had said to them, "Give me a loaf of bread and you will have a child. Give me 2 loaves of bread and you will have 2 children. Give me 3 loaves of bread and you will have 3 children." And so it was, even though we had been told that it was not in our destiny. Our nature is to give, and so we gave the 3 loaves of bread to the hermit. And when he left, in the time after, my wife has given birth to our 3 children. Narada was greatly shocked by this. So at the first opportunity, he sat in meditation once again and rose up to the celestial realms and confronted Vishnu. "How can this be when you have told me and I know that the laws of existence and karma cannot be changed?" "Oh," said Vishnu, "come with me and let me explain to you how this is." So both Narada and Vishnu descended down to the earthly realm, where they found themselves in a certain town. But just after they arrived in that earthly realm, Vishnu clutched at his middle and said, "Oh, a devotee of mine has given me rancid yogurt and my liver is spoiled. I need a new liver, otherwise I will die." Narada immediately ran off down the road where there was a temple, where rituals were going on, incense being waved. And he shouted, Vishnu will die, he needs a new liver. Who will give Narada, who will give me the liver for Vishnu? But nobody took any notice. They went about their rituals and the waving of their incense. He ran down the road where he came to the seaside, where the fishermen were hauling in their nets, and he called, Vishnu needs a liver. Who will give their liver? The fishermen shook their heads, but then they pointed. He is the only fool who would do so. And there, standing in the seawater, was an old beggar, an old hermit, standing on one leg. Narada asked, Vishnu is dying, he needs a liver. Without a word, not one word, but just a gesture, calling to Narada to come. He let down his leg and waded out of the water, made his way to a small hut on the beach. He entered the hut and indicated to Narada to follow him. The old beggar hermit sat cross-legged and taking a knife, he entered it into his body, dragging it across with the blood flowing down his legs, and taking out his liver, he gave it to Narada to give it to Vishnu. Narada left the old hermit in lotus position, the blood still running down his legs, and hurried back to the god Vishnu, who, to his very great surprise, was hale and hearty and well. But Narada handed the liver to him, and then Vishnu explained, this old beggar is the hermit, the one who brought the bread of the gift of 3 children to the merchant you have spoken of. You see, my dear Narada, though you are a great devotee of mine, you are also a great intellectual with a mind so strong. Can I remind you that you have a liver? Oh, said Narada, I did not think. Forgive me, O great Lord. And Vishnu followed by saying, this hermit, this beggar is a Bhakta, a God-drunken lover. And when a God-drunken lover speaks, the gods must obey. What is this third on this list that's being created through story, that fashions the key, that opens the door to allow us to enter that which is stated to be the absence of illusion. No longer bound, chained by the laws of existence. And when we speak, the gods must obey. What is it that arises for each of you? Firstly, stop trying. Stop striving. Stop seeking. And secondly, stop wanting. Stop desiring. Stop being a beggar. To existence. What is it that this story invokes for us? That which is needed to fashion this key. Narada, the great scholar, and the hermit, the mendicant, the god-drunken lover, not trying, not wanting. What is this story?